Hey Wilder folks, Alicia here. Today's 6-minute mobility is going to be focused on your hips and everything surrounding those hips. We are going to be using a chair or a bench, so as long as you've got one of those, some sort of raised platform around, then this is going to work wonderfully. Now let's get you out of here in 6 minutes or less. First things first, let's grab our bench. And I want you to do all of one side first before we go through the second side. So pick your leg, whichever leg you want to start with, and I'm going to get you to lift it and put that heel on the bench. Now we don't want to hyperextend our knee here, so just a baby bend. And what we're going to start by doing is tipping forward until we feel a stretch through the back of the leg and maybe our butt, and we're just going to go through that motion with a totally straight spine. Now, if I was to bend my spine, I could get to my toes here pretty easy, but that's going around the purpose of the stretch. So what I want you to do is actively lean forward, tilt that pelvis, and keep that back totally flat and neutral. We're going to go through this a few times. Now I want you to hang out at that bottom position, and you are going to press your heel into your bench for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now come back up out of it, and we'll do 5 more forward. Leans, 2, 3, just going until I start to feel that stretch in my hamstrings. 4 and 5. Now 5 more seconds, push into that bench. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Now what I'm going to get you to do is turn those hips to the front of the room. Foot is going to be on that bench, lying on its side. Now we're going to do that same motion, so hinging over here, and we're going to do that 10 times, nice and slow and smooth. Remember, back is flat here. I'm tilting the pelvis to start my movement. Let me show you this from the side, but I want you to keep on doing these in the position you are in. So when I'm in this raised position, notice how my back stays flat. It doesn't curl at all. Nice and tall with these. Good. Now, you all know how I am with counting, so I assume we are at about 8, but we want to do this until we feel like we're getting a little bit of opening through our groin. And 1 more. Now we get to do the push into the bench. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, 5 more hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just exploring that motion, trying to keep those hips level. So we don't want one hip hunched up. We want them level. And 5. Now let's press in for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we get to do my favorite part. So you're going to rotate again, same foot as on the bench, so that our hips are pointing away from our bench. You might have to hop a little bit closer to your bench. Your toes can be up or can be flat, and we are going to slowly, carefully, maybe with something for balance, lower ourselves all the way down so that we're in a pretty aggressive lunge position. In this position, I want you to now tilt your pelvis backwards. So for all the other movements, we were kind of tilting our pelvis forwards to help us. Now we're going to take that pelvis, tilt it towards the back of the room, and we're going to hang out in this position for 10 seconds. And you can probably see this coming. Now what we're going to do is press into that back foot for 5 seconds. And all together. Starting now, pressing that back foot, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now relax. You're going to feel a little bit of an opening here, maybe a deeper or different stretch. And 5 more seconds. Let's push into that bench. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Nice. Okay, this is where things are going to get fun. We are now going to use that length and strength that we just built. So pressing through your front foot, I want you to stand. You're going to drop down slowly, and we're going to do 10 of these. Now, this is important. I don't want you to be pushing too much through that back foot. I want this leg to be doing the work, and this leg to be lengthening in a wonderful way to help us complete that movement. 3, 4, 5. Good. Now in this position, let's do 5 single leg deadlifts basically. So we're tilting forward. Notice how we're using our hinge pattern. We should start to feel a stretch in the other leg, and this is going to help us with side number 2. 4, keeping that back flat and neutral, hips point straight ahead. 5, now we're going to finish up with 5 more here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wonderful. Okay, let's do our second side. So I'm going to move this bench so you get the same angles, but you can probably keep yours where it is. We're going to start by picking up one foot, placing it on the bench, and then we're going to tip that pelvis forward with the flat back to come forward and then back up. Now, an important thing I should have mentioned during those rear foot elevated split squats is if you're not comfortable going all the way to the floor with those, then you can bump up underneath that back knee. Case in point, if I was to use a really high bench, it would be way harder for me to get to the ground. So the bench you're using is going to influence how low you can go. I'll show you that when we get to this on this one. All right, we've done our 10, I think. We're gonna push into that bench for 5 seconds. Push that heel down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And 5 more hinges. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Good. Okay, 5 more seconds of pushing that heel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And 5 more hinges. 1, 2. Feeling your hamstrings, maybe your calves, maybe your butt. Not that low back. We don't want to stretch there for this one. Good. Now we get to rotate facing the camera or the front of the room. Hips are going to be level here, so I don't want to hitch one hip up. Don't want to feel all twisted through the spine. Nice and level. If we have to adjust the height of this, we can. If you can't keep your hips level, get a lower bench. Either way, let's start with our Romanian deadlifts in this position, likely getting a nice stretch through the groin. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Going all the way to 10 before we do our first set of pushes. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Now we get to push into that bench for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Back to our hinges. Just 5 now. Remembering a slight bend in actually both knees here so that we're not kind of putting aggressive stretching through the joint instead of the muscles. No matter what mobility we're doing, if you actively search for the restriction or actively search for the stretch, instead of kind of going around it to like win at the exercise, you are going to end up with a better result in the long run. Okay, 5 more seconds pushing in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Shake it out a little if you want. We're going to turn, face the front of the room, get adjusted if we need to. Now we get to sink down into our coach stretch. And really breathe into this amazing stretch through the back leg. Tilting that pelvis towards the back of the room. Behind you, imagining you're spilling water out of the back of your pelvis. That's a nice visual that I like to use. And now we get to push into that bench. So no movement happens, but we are using this quad because we're trying to push our foot into our bench. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice, you can shake it out a little. You'll find the stretch has moved. If it has, you're doing things well. And 5 more seconds pushing into that bench. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relaxing into that stretch again. Awesome. Now we get to do the fun part. Get yourself adjusted. If you need to, block up that back knee or choose a shorter bench. Front leg is gonna do the work, but back leg, that mobility that we've built here is gonna allow us to do the work. So we've got 5 of our movements here. Rear foot elevated split squats, these are called. Pelvis is neutral or tilting back. We don't wanna be hyper arching that lower back here. Good. And now we get to find a stretch through the original leg as we do single leg deadlifts. Doing a more of a folding pattern through that lunge. And then we get to do our hinging pattern. Good. Last one. Shake it out. That was today's chair-based hip mobility. I hope you enjoyed it and you have a wilder day.